And welcome back to Sideline. I'm your host, Raider Will, and I am here with my brother, Douglas Sheffield, aka Raider Homer. How are you today, my brother?
I'm doing well, brother. I hope you're doing well also, man. I'm looking forward to getting this episode started because, man, training camp is here already. The season's right around the corner, and Sideline to Sideline is going to be covering the Raiders throughout the season. So I'm super excited. So, with that being said, Raider Nation, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and you can follow me on X at Homer Raider, and look for me on Facebook and IG at just search Raider Homer. And don't forget to check out Section 105 Media Network on Facebook. And be sure to follow Will at SB Radio Podcast on X and at Silver and Black Radio Podcast on YouTube.
Yes, sir. And on today's episode, guys, what we are going to do is do the Luke Getsy breakdown, baby. We are going to look at how many points and how we're going to put them up on other teams and the way that we are expecting key players to be used, especially in this new West Coast offense. So right now, guys, I want you guys to buckle up, click in, and get ready for an offensive explosion. And let's get ready, baby. So let's get into Luke Getsy's offensive breakdown. All right, guys. So, as we all know, all offensive coordinators have a unique way of getting the ball to their players, and every single one of them has a scheme. All these players and coaches are influenced, and they all like a certain way that they're used or a certain way that the ball is delivered to them or the way that they get it to them. And in Luke Getsy's West Coast offense, we all know it's been influenced by Mike McCarthy, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, and the McVay tree. So his offense is super innovative and super creative. So, guys, let's look at how our boy Q asked Luke Getsy how these two past years' experience in Chicago is going to make him a better game planner for our Raiders.
Want to know what you learned from your experiences in Chicago as a first-time play caller for those 2 years and what you could take from those experiences and bring them to Las Vegas with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, experience is like the best thing you can get, right? We talk about with quarterbacks all the time, like you getting on that game film, there's nothing like it. And that game experience gives you the most to grow from. And it's the same thing with me, you know, every game got to, you know, I found my way to get through the process a little bit cleaner each and every week. And from season 1 to season 2, and the way that we were able to, you know, help those guys, you know, in season 2, the guys like DJ and Cole have the best seasons of their career. Like that's something that was a really cool thing that we were able to do and continue to grow there. And like, it's always about getting better every single day. Right. So whether it's in the upstairs as an offensive staff or whether it's when you're with your players, everything is always about getting better every single day and being able to stick to that and hold true to that was something that I was really proud of.
So I would be way worried if Luke Getsy wasn't coming in with 2 years experience as an offensive coordinator under his belt. You know, we don't really have time as a team for Luke Getsy to get used to being an offensive coordinator. We need him to step in and be the offensive coordinator that can change this offense and utilize these weapons that we have and become, you know, an elite offense, you know. And I do really like the fact that he has experience balancing 2 different styles of quarterbacks. And I think that's going to come into play this offseason. And it's pretty evident that that's the situation because we do have a QB competition going on, you know. And so with that being said, I really feel like the offense has to hit the ground running. And so it's going to be important for Luke Getsy to utilize that experience and make sure that he's using his weapons to the fullest extent.
Absolutely, brother. And him having all those experiences, like you said, having a pocket guy, having a guy that likes to extend the game is definitely going to be key for the Raiders, especially right now with the quarterback competition coming up. Now, you said a key thing. The Raiders need to hit the ground running, baby. And that's something that Luke Getsy does. Last year, we all know that, hey, the Bears ranked second in rushing in the league, you know, ranked around 141 yards. So, with that said, we have a lot of people saying, hey, man, are we going to be a run first team or a throw first team? And here Luke Getzey gives a great answer to that by telling them just one answer, baby. Whatever it takes to just win. So let's get into it.
Coach Mark Anderson, AP, obviously you've had a lot of success running the ball in Chicago. Do you envision that kind of approach here, or would you rather see more balanced offense?
No, hey, we're all about winning here, right? That's whatever it takes to win, and whether that's some weeks you got to run it more, and some weeks you got to throw it more. Whatever it takes, I think it's all about playing into the players that you have, and trying to get them to do the things that they do really well. And so, whatever that looks like, we'll find out here this fall. But we'll take this off season to go ahead and figure out exactly what that is.
Luke Getzey seems like the type of offensive coordinator that's not going to try to, force his players to fit into his system. He's going to be the type of offensive coordinator that adjusts to his players and utilizes his players based on their strengths. And that's what's going to help this offense, hit the ground running, because he's not going to try to force something that's not there. He's going to be able to utilize the talent and turn this thing around day one, I believe. And he's talking about, figuring out what's going on in the offseason and finding out who does best, who does what best coming, in the preseason. And that is something that I'm looking forward to, because now, we're going to see it, because it's coming right around the corner, what this offense will look like. And it's going to be crucial to make sure that we get the players where they need to be. That's going to help this offense excel.
You know what, Doug? What I just love is you just said right now we're in the preseason, where you're learning how to use your players, where your creativity is starting, where a coach goes, hey, man, I just saw this kid do this. Now I want to see if he can repeat it, and let's see if we can use that in a game. So right now, a lot of people are, like you said, we are in OTAs. We're going into mini camp. We just started mini camp. Man, right now, all the base plays are getting in. And let's get into seeing how Uncle Hondo asked Luke Getzey about adding those added sprinkles with that creativity and using those players, baby.
Playbook here, different personnel, different team coaches, everything. So I'm curious, you didn't know that they were going to pick a Brock Bowers. How much of your playbook right now do you think, are you still writing? Are you still going over? Are you still kind of contemplating?
Yeah, I think there's certain things that are kind of non-negotiable in your play style, right? And the mindset and that you want to bring, no matter what style of play you have to have. And fortunately, I've been around a lot of really good football coaches that have kind of exposed me to a lot of different styles of play and different ways of approaching teams and find different ways to attack the different styles of defense that we face each week. And so that's never going to change. And I think the part of our job is, you could go into week 3 thinking you have one style of roster, and week 4 you can be in a completely different, right? You just use that example. We had completely 2 different styles of QBs in Chicago, and you go into different games and you have different ways of playing the game, and so that part of it is all real. And I think the most important thing is find a way to maximize the type of guy that you have, figuring out what they do well, and that's what the phase that we're in right now. We're all trying to figure each other out and figure out what we do best.
Like I said, this preseason, he's going to have the opportunity to see, who does what best, man. And so keep an eye out, Raider Nation. These plays that we're going to show up, you're going to see coming in this preseason, man. And so what I really like about this point that he's making here is that he's going to really focus on exploiting defenses. And that's what he learned in Green Bay under Mike McCarthy and Matt LaFleur, man. So, couple that with Devontae Adams, this is going to be set up to be an explosive offense. And I believe that, he's going to be able, like you mentioned, to make the adjustments with the personnel, because not everybody's going to stay healthy all season long. And so he already understands that. And that's where this experience that he learned or that he got from Chicago really comes into play and is going to be extremely important. And again, he mentioned having 2 styles of quarterbacks. I think that's going to be huge because we are in the quarterback competition going on, and there are 2 different quarterbacks. Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew couldn't be further apart in styles than at all. They are the 2 kind of quarterbacks that, he can build around. And I'm excited to see how that works out this preseason.
Absolutely, brother. And I mean, like you said, two different styles of quarterbacks, two different types of players. What did he say? I have to learn my players, put them in the best position. So when you got two different types, you can do stuff with your game plan that other people can't. You know, you can put in certain packages. You can use in certain personnel groupings. He said, hey, you've added Bowers. You got Jacoby Meyers. You got Devontae Adams. You got Zeus. You got multiple players on this squad that can play multiple positions. You got Tucker, who's an absolute monster. I mean, I've seen Devontae Adams sometimes lined up in the backfield, sometimes lined up in the slot, sometimes lined up at wide receiver. With all these guys being able to do multiple things, Bowers being able to line up at tight end, in the slot, at the H-back position, at the wide receiver position, Mayers the same way. Guys, all these guys that can do multiple things allow us to take advantage of a defense's weakness. We can put guys in key positions to take advantage of what they do best. And that's something that Luke Getsy is definitely going to be taking advantage of this season.
Already from the Athletic. It seems like you guys have a few different players on offense that can line up in multiple spots, whether it's Devontae or Brock Bowers or Michael Mayer. As offensive coordinator, how much flexibility does that give you to kind of get creative and switch around your alignment in the pass game to try to take advantage of matchups?
Yeah, that's huge, right? Because if you, again, just looking across the league from a defensive perspective, everybody's trying to do that on defense too. They want the DN that can rush and cover. They want the linebacker that can rush and cover. They want the nickel that can fit a B gap and guard a slot, right? So everyone's trying to find that. And same thing on offense. We're doing the same thing. And the more flexibility you have with a player, that gives you more opportunity to do a bunch of different things. And then the second part of what you said is that the more people that you can have that can do those things, that's when your offense can get really good. That's when you have three different guys that can run one route, or three different guys that can do one type of concept. Now you're putting fear in the defense in a completely different way.
He's talking about utilizing players in different positions, right? Brock Bowers comes to mind when he says that, right? Coming, from Chicago, he likes to run the 12 personnel package, but, Brock Bowers can move out to the slot, or Adams can move in from the outside into the slot. And that opens up the door. The defenses won't know what to do. It's a pick your poison kind of thing. And, that is exactly why this team is poised to become an elite offense, man, because already he has those pieces in place that he's talking about, guys that can move around and that can be dynamic. He already has those. All he has to do is be able to make the weekly adjustments, which he has the experience doing coming from Chicago. So, man, this is a great opportunity, for the Raiders to really get to come together as an offensive team and a defensive team and be just a unique, solid team. All three phases, though, right? Special teams we'll try to get into before the start of the season, but offense and defense, man, is going to be the big key this year because, we know our offenses, or we know our defense is elite or can be elite, but our offense is the biggest question. But I think with that, Getsy's experience and the talent on the roster is going to help him hit the ground running, as I said earlier.
Absolutely, brother. And there's something you said, man. He needs to hit the ground running. He needs to get in there and build that brotherhood. He needs to get guys reps. He needs to understand how guys work. You need to build that bond. And right now, that's what they're doing. They're building that bond. And it's important to have guys at all levels, not just rookies, but it's important to have vets buy in. It's important to have all these key players, from the guy that cleans the bathroom to your superstar on your team, to be on the same page, man, to be together, to build that brotherhood, to get reps, to get experience, and to build cohesion. So that way, when we get into the season and we go to war every Sunday, our team is ready. So let's get into how Luke Getsy thinks vets should be at OTAs, baby.
As a new offensive coordinator, how important is it to get some of these veteran guys here for the non-mandatory OTAs to try and get as much installed as you can now?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's important to lay a foundation, and that's really, like I said, if we can establish our style and the brotherhood that we have in that room, we're gonna be just fine. And the schematic part of it is the second element of it, right? Guys got to be comfortable being able to react to things that happen, because the reality of it is we prepare them and we say it's going to look like this, and we called it for this, but there's often something that's slightly different, and those repetitions that you get with one another, that's how you become elite.
Right there, that clip shows that Getzy understands the importance of laying a foundation with the vets. You heard that he needs people to know what to do in any given situation. And with Adams and even Jacoby Myers and some of the other players on the team, he's going to have that veteran leadership. Even with Minshew, right? Even though Minshew wasn't here, he is that veteran leader. He was at training camp. He was getting good at, understanding the offense and calling audibles. That's at least that's what the reports are saying. So, this veteran team, is going to help Getzy get to where he needs to be as our offensive coordinator.
Absolutely. Having your vets buy in is crucial. Guys, these guys come in and become teachers to your rookies. Vets are the guys that influence every single rookie that comes into that locker room. If you look at Max Crosby, he's taking the defensive line guys under his wing. Devontae Adams now stepping up, being that senior guy in the locker room, taking guys under his wing is absolutely crucial. That happened to him when he was in Green Bay. He had Jordy Nelson. He had Randall Cobb in that locker room. So he had veteran guys in there giving him that knowledge. Guys, that's what's so crucial about having vets on the field and talking about stars. Luke Getzy knows that his team is talented, man. But just like any other coach, you don't like to compare talent from one year to another. So let's get into how Luke Getzy looks at his talent this year on the Raiders.
And you look at, speaking to the talent on the offense, when you look at Brock and Michael and Devontae, Jacoby, is this, potentially the most talented group you've worked with in terms of, weapons at your disposal?
It's a great group. I don't want to compare, really. I've been fortunate to be on a lot of really good teams, right? And I mean, Aaron won 3 of his 4 MVPs while I was in Green Bay, and that's not because of just Aaron, right? I mean, there's a lot of talent around him too, and so this is a talented group, though. We're excited to work with them, and like you said, it's going to be really cool to find different ways to make it all mesh together, though. We're really excited to work with everybody.
Getzy may not want to compare his players, from this roster to previous teams, but there's no denying that this roster has a lot of talent, and the kind of talent that can lead to a high-powered offense. And while we don't have an Aaron Rodgers, we do have the weapon that helped Aaron Rodgers become an MVP. That's Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? So with that, in his experience with Adams, man, we can become that explosive offense, and it can happen from the start, as we've been saying, hit the ground running. And I believe that that's how it's going to come together, is because he does have that experience and he has that talent and he has the experience with the talent. So we'll be good to go. Now we just need our players to step up and play as well as they can. You know what I mean? They don't have to be Rodgers, but if our guys can play well, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that Devontae Adams could become the MVP.
Absolutely, brother. I'll be like, it takes key innovation. It takes guys believing in each other, and it takes guys being used correctly. And honestly, I think Luke Getzy came in and he felt the energy that AP brings. And I bring because of that energy that AP brings. We're going to be very innovative on offense. We're going to use creativity, and we're going to allow our players to shine and take advantage of the defense and make plays on Sunday. And I think also Luke Getsy's going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to use all these guys with all these talents. I just got to know how to use them, when to use them, and you know what? Let them do their thing. So, guys, let's get into how Luke Getsy felt during the interview process with our head coach, AP.
Hey, Luke, congratulations. Had you met Antonio before this process? And in the interview process, what was your guys' combined vision of the offense, how it's going to look, and what do you guys want to accomplish on that side of the ball?
I had not met AP prior to that interview. But it was evident, like I said, when I walked in, and the energy, the enthusiasm that he brings to work every single day was just something I was attracted to right away. And you know, as you talk about the vision of the offense, I mean, you always have to play into the players that you have, and your best players got to be the one shining on Sunday. And so it's always about finding what everybody does best, and finding cool and unique ways to emphasize those things each and every week. And we're always going to start with talking about our play style and the mentality that we're going to bring. I mean, that's going to be evident. I use that phrase. We want as an offense, we want everyone to feel our film. We don't just want them to see it. And like, that's going to be a big part of it. And I think that's where AP and I really hit off.
Apparently, Coach AP did feel that film when he was watching it. You know, Luke Getsy played well, or called a good game when he played us. In fact, he went 3 for 3 in the red zone, 8 for 13 on third downs, and held on to the ball for 34 minutes. That's exactly what Coach AP wants out of his offense. And this is the kind of style of offense that Getsy brings. And he's talking about mixing his players and using them to the best of their advantage or their abilities. And that's what he's been talking about the whole time. He's consistent with that perspective, right? So you can expect that. And this is going to be that type of year, I believe, where teams will feel the Raiders' film.
Brother, they're going to feel the film, and they're going to feel the pain on the field. I'm telling you, man, I really do see a year of change. When you look at this guy, he's coming in with this scheme. He's not overly confident. We don't have this guy that's arrogant. He's a player's first coach. He's a guy that's going to take advantage of what he sees. He's a guy that builds relationships with his players. Guys, now what we're going to do is get into the way that we see the offensive scheme being used this year with key players for Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy offensive breakdown. Guys, in our first video here, what we are going to talk about is the relationship that DT and Luke Getsy have, how they have come together, how we expect Luke Getsy and DT to grow this thing and make it happen for our Raiders, baby. Back in 2016, Luke Getsy, a young Davante Adams, joined up, made the Packers a great receiver, and gave Aaron Rodgers an MVP type receiver that we now have on the Raiders. So let's look at it and see how Davante Adams came into that locker room, and now how roles have changed, and now he's going to play that role for us, baby.
About that relationship with Davante, how special it is to have him as any weapon in whatever offense you run, but he specifically mentioned the West Coast.
Yeah. I mean, that's, Davante entered the world in Green Bay. That was how I was raised in this business, in that Mike McCarthy West Coast style. And obviously there's the West Coast is a general term now. There's obviously different flavors of it that everyone has kind of taken run with. And I think we'll have our own as well. And but when you're working with a guy like Davante, I walked into a room as a young receivers coach and was really able to connect to him really quickly. I saw, he's in the middle of a room with Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson, who were at the peaks of their career and accomplishing all these things and had been to Pro Bowls and Davante, he aspired to do that and more. And we were able to connect really well. And our relationship was such that, I walked in, I'm a quarterback guy walking into the receiver room, and hopefully that those guys felt that I kind of brought that element to that room. So hopefully they're, bringing that football IQ up a different way, even the quarterback, through the quarterback's eyes, I think is really important. And I think that, you're talking about one of the most like spatial aware people I've ever been around, and someone who's able to take information and make the most of it. And that's Tay. Like, so, that 16 season was really kind of the beginning of when he was ready to take off as a pro.
And you know what? Tay is going to help this 2024 offense take off and become elite. It's crucial, right? We're talking about experience. And last episode, we talked about consistency. Well, these guys and chemistry. Well, these guys have chemistry. And it showed when Getsy became Davante Adams' offensive, wide receivers coach. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how Davante Adams will be utilized. Because again, we keep talking about how the 12 offense is used for running, but Getsy wants to open it up and have people motion around. And so Adams is going to help everybody understand that. And that chemistry will help his offense not become so predictable. And when we are in tight situations and we might be predictable, Adams is still that type of guy that can make the play to get our offense out of a situation when we need somebody to make the play.
Absolutely, brother. And let's talk about that, right? We talked about predictability. We talked about a lot of things like that. In the West Coast offense, that's what's so beautiful about it. I can give you the same look and I can do so many different things from it that you come out and, hey, you might think you know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something else. And honestly, that's what Davante Adams loves about this offense.
I don't know if it's any one thing, but just the timing. A lot of things kind of go together, so it makes it. It's going to keep some defenses honest. Different ways we may motion one way and do something, and then do something completely different, have a double move off of it, or whatever the case may be. But I could answer that question a little bit better going into the scheme, but obviously you guys don't get that. So.
Right there, you should take notice of him saying that there's going to be a lot of motioning, right? That's something that's key to Luke Getsy's offense, man. It causes confusion for the defense. It helps the offense know what the defense is up to, and Adams, man, he is looking confident that he is going to be able to excel and maybe have that MVP type caliber season that I'm hoping for, man. Again, chemistry is huge, as I just mentioned, and they already have it. And I'm looking forward to see how that translates to the Raiders offense.
Absolutely, brother. And that's something that's going to be crucial for us. So now let's get into play one of how we see DT being used by Luke Getsy. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got the Packers in a 2-by-2 formation with the running back set off to the right. We see the corners pressed up. Davante Adams is giving Aaron Rodgers the look. And the ball is snapped. Aaron Rodgers drops back. DT beats the corner. Gets the ball. And it's a first down for the Packers.
All right, so yeah, we've been mentioning all episode that, there's a lot of talk about the 12 personnel, but this play shows that may have just been something he needed to do out of necessity, was run the ball a lot in Chicago. With Davante Adams in this situation, expect to see this play to be used because it was used with players like DJ Moore in his Chicago offense, as we're about to see. So this is something that I believe our quarterbacks, Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, can excel doing, leading Davante Adams to the open spot and letting Adams get that ball, pick up first downs in crucial situations, and maybe even touchdowns, depending on the location of the ball.
Absolutely, brother. Here's the thing. Okay. Davante Adams allows you to do so many different things because he's a different type of receiver. In his youth, of course, when you're younger, you got more legs. Now he's such a skilled receiver at just doing absolutely everything. He gives you a mismatch outside that you can definitely audible, like give him the look, give him a check, give him a hot route. Now, with teams, I think we have a big misconception right now because we see the Bears being second in rushing. We expect him to just be like, hey, we're just going to run the rock every single time. Guys, the Bears didn't have the personnel to throw the ball that often. So I absolutely agree with you that we will be seeing a lot of Davante Adams getting the ball vertically. And I can also see Luke Getsy coming up with ways to scheme Davante Adams open. And let's get into how I see that scheme working to get DT open, baby. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got the Bears in a 2-by-2. They started 3-by-1. Cole Kmet came over, starts the motion. Guys, you guys see here that we got DJ Moore running the deep route. We got the slot receiver running a short route. We got the tight end running a delayed slant. And you got the opposite wide receiver running a post. Guys, let's see how Luke Getsy's play design influences this defense. Okay, the quarterback snaps the ball. He drops back. He sees the corner get sucked up by the underneath route, opening up DJ Moore on that backside, and he throws an absolute dart to DJ Moore on the sideline for a Bears first down. Okay, guys, here we got the all-22 view. The play starting in the 3-by-1 formation. We highlighted Cole Kmet as he's going to come across in motion. You see the communication between the safeties, talking about what's going on. No bump coverage. You see Justin Fields, he sees the adjustment, makes a play call to the outside. Ball snap. He drops back. He sees the influence of the short route, opening up that backside window to DJ Moore. Throws an absolute dart down the sideline to DJ Moore for a Bears first down.
So you can see the similarities in that play, and that's what you can expect to see with Davante Adams in our offense this year for the Raiders. But as I said earlier, our quarterbacks, they need to lay that. Yes, it was a dart, but they need to lay that pass so that Adams can run under it in stride and make a move on that final defender in the back end. You know, this is the type of play that I'm excited to see because, as you mentioned, man, I know we're going to run the ball a lot, and we've been talking about how they can spread it out from the 12 formation, right? Because of the players being able to go and play multiple positions. So expect to see this play a lot and look for this in the preseason, Raider Nation, and come back and leave us a comment.
Absolutely, brother. And it's like you said, you're always trying to get bigger and better plays. So, hey, do I expect the Raiders to make that into a big play? Absolutely, man. And I can't wait because the level of talent that we got is definitely more quality than what he had in Chicago. And another thing is that we've added another dynamic playmaker this year through the draft with our number 12 pick. Everybody was sitting there waiting on pins and needles, and we drafted the best player available, Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is another dynamic player that Luke Getsy can use in his scheme. He has hands like a wide receiver. He runs like a wide receiver with the body of a tight end. Guys, this is a mismatch no matter where he's at on the field, whether he's lined up at wide receiver or he's lined up at tight end. Too fast for linebackers, too big for corners. Guys, let's see how Luke Getsy plans using Brock Bowers this season.
Bowers, how excited are you to have him in the building, and how much do you think you'll be able to complement Michael Mayer as well with the 12 personnel and kind of, what they can do as a tandem?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited. I think, Brock's a unique guy. I think it's been said here plenty of times. He was probably the best player in the SEC for some time there while he was there. He won a bunch of games. And so anytime you could bring that type of caliber of player into your organization, you're going to get better. And you match him and you pair him with the talent that we already have here. I think that just makes you more dynamic. This league's about finding as many dynamic guys as you can get on your team. I mean, that's the goal. As you see the construction of all these teams in the league, everyone's trying to find those dynamic differences. And I think he's just one of those elements that gives us an opportunity to do a bunch of different things.
He's definitely dynamic. He was in college, that's for sure. And if he can live up to his college numbers in the NFL, man, he's going to be the next greatest Raiders tight end, for the foreseeable future. And yes, the college is a different game, but he's playing in the SEC, so he should be able to adjust to the NFL's physicality, starting day one. And you know what? The reports of him coming out being more business mind or, not being so silly, I like hearing that, man. That's what we need, that grit. Guys showing up to work, laying the bricks one at a time, man. And Brock Bowers, as you can see me wearing 89, man, I'm hoping that he opens up this offense and, becomes this great weapon, both as a blocker, right, and a pass catcher. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he fits into this offense this season.
Absolutely, man. He's going to be an absolute gift, especially in that 12 personnel package. Now, for that 12 personnel package, we also need another tight end to make it work. And man, we got a gift last year in Michael Mayer. The guy is an absolute gift. He's a great blend of both pass catcher and blocker. He's a big-bodied guy, a true tight end. And him and Cole Kmet are so alike. And we all know that Cole Kmet blew up with Luke Getsy as his offensive coordinator. So let's see how Luke Getsy plans on talking about or using Cole Kmet.
Hey, Luke, Vinny Bonsignore with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you, man.
Looking at you guys' numbers from last year, Cole Kmet, young tight end, was featured pretty prominently in your offense. The Raiders have a young tight end in Michael Mayer, and I'm sure you dug into him a little bit last year coming into the draft. What are your, what are your impressions of Michael Mayer and how he could fit in your offense?
Yeah, I think the cool thing about him is that a little bit like Cole, he's a cool blend at tight end. He can do a little bit of everything, right? Anytime that you're evaluating players, you're trying to see like how diverse they can be. The flexibility for a player just allows you to be more dynamic as an offense, and I think that's what's really exciting about working with Michael.
So they're comparing Michael to Cole Kmet right there, right? But if you take a look at the college numbers, Michael Mayer had a much better college career than Cole Kmet did. But Cole Kmet got paid. Luke gets his offense tailored to Cole Kmet, and he got paid for it. So even in the interviews you hear with Michael Mayer, he's talking about the excitement he has because he's seen him get paid. So we're going to look at a couple of plays coming up that are going to show, or at least one that's going to show where I think Michael Mayer is going to excel in this offense. He's a great pass catcher. He's a great blocker. I know we're talking a lot about Brock Bowers, but Michael Mayer is going to be that sneaky good tight end, I believe. And it's going to be because of Brock Bowers being able to attract attention or take the attention of the defense away from Michael Mayer.
No, absolutely, brother. I mean, both of them are going to work in tandem. You got to kind of pick your poison with the Raiders. We got so many weapons, you have to pick your poison. And in one game, one guy's going to explode. In another game, another guy's going to explode. And that's just the way it is. Because right now, we got that much talent on offense. So, guys, let's talk about this, all right? Let's look at how we see Michael Mayer being used to excel and make the Raiders offense explosive this year. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got the Bears in a 2-by-2 formation. You see the receiver up top is going to take an outside release and run a fly or a 9 route. You're going to see the running back is going to come out and flare out. Then you see Cole Kmet is going to come in motion. And then he's going to chip and release. Then you have the slot receiver taking underneath route. Then you have the bottom receiver running a post. So now we got Cole Kmet highlighted, and the quarterback snaps the ball, sending them in motion. He snaps the ball. You see Cole Kmet chips as the receivers are being influencing defense, taking them vertically. Now with that late release, you see him come. You see the opening downfield, underneath, and then you got on first down for Cole Kmet. Guys, here we got the All-22 view. You got Cole Kmet highlighted. You'll see him come in motion. You see how that influences the defense, how they have to shift. The ball snapped. You see him chip in order to deceive the linebackers and have them drop. They get influenced by the receivers, and then that opens up Cole Kmet underneath for a Bears first down.
Now, this can help Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer get open. Let's say they're having a hard time getting open in, double coverage or one-on-one coverage. Plays like this can help our guys through deception and motion, right? All that compiles and makes deception and confuses the defense. So you can see our guys getting loose on late releases like this and getting big first downs, man. And then, right, that'll set up to the defense where they'll start to watch that stuff, and then that should allow our tight ends to get loose on more of a straightforward route. So look for these kind of plays too in this preseason, Raider Nation.
Absolutely. I mean, guys, Doug has been putting in a lot of work and a lot of research time into these plays, so definitely expect these types of plays to be used. Guys, here what we see is the incredible versatility of Cole Kmet. And that's something that we have here on the Raiders squad. Okay. So now let's get into another way that we see Michael Mayer being used by Luke Getsy in the Raiders' new offense. And all right, Raider Nation, as we know, hey, Luke Getsy likes to run the rock. But just because you shall run doesn't mean you are going to run. Here we got the Bears in 22 personnel with 2 tight ends lined up to one side of the field, showing an extremely heavy formation to the left. You got a release underneath by the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. You got another release by the tight end a little bit deeper. Then you got the bottom receiver running a clearing route, running that fly route on the bottom. All right, guys, now we got the quarterback snaps the ball. We see the play action that sucks up the defense. Tyson Bagent turns his back. That releases Mercedes Lewis free in the flat. Turns the catch, turns up the field, and gets a Chicago down in the 2-yard line, baby. Here we got the All-22 view. You got 22 personnel. You got Mercedes Lewis highlighted. The ball is snapped. Tyson Bagent uses play action. You see Mercedes Lewis working across the field underneath because of course the play action works.
Right there, you saw the play action, the rollout, and then Mercedes Lewis sneak out, right? One thing to pay attention to is the second tight end that goes up and over and draws attention. All that comes together. That's the confusion we keep talking about that Getsy scheme will cause for opposing defenses and help our offense. And yes, I do expect Mayer to be sneaky good this year in plays like this, man, because these are sneaky type of plays, man, where you're going to lose them in the sauce, man. There's a lot going on, man, and hopefully Michael Mayer can actually punch it in and turn that into a touchdown.
Absolutely, brother. And what I like about that play is in the red zone. That's the money zone, baby. That's what we got to make it rain, right? Guys, let's get into how Luke Getsy thinks it's important that quarterbacks are able to extend the play on third down and in red zone situations.
Worked with a quarterback that has the athletic ability to get out of the pocket at any time and pick up some big yards with his legs. You've also worked with quarterbacks that can stand in the pocket and just throw the ball around the yard. Can you give us the kind of pros and cons, and is there a preference that you have?
Well, kind of like anything, you'd like everything to have. You'd like to have a little bit of everything, right? And I think, in this game, I think it's really important that you have some type of escapability. Doesn't mean you have to be as dynamic as Justin was, but I think you have to have escapability. You got to be able to have the second chance and create the extended play, whether it's just slide in the pocket or whether it's extending it with your feet outside the pocket. So all those things are really important. You guys, it was on display in the Super Bowl, as we just saw here in Vegas the other day. Like that ability of both of those guys to create the second chance of the play is an important part in our league. And when you're trying to go win games, you got to be good on third down in the red zone. And when you're good at those two things, it's usually because your quarterback, has some kind of cool dynamic to be able to spit the ball around. Which we were pretty good at that thing the last 2 years.
So right here, this is the question that all teams face when it comes to their quarterback now. Do you go for the pocket passer or do you go for the mobile quarterback, excuse me. But me, I mean, I'm looking at it like that's the NFL dictates that we have to have a mobile quarterback now. You know what I mean? And I feel like Gardner Minshew is going to be that type of quarterback for us, man. Sliding around, creating and extending the plays, man. Even that's even designed into his scheme. That's why you see the play action and the bootleg. So he's going to design that into the scheme. So Minshew is going to be able to excel in this offense because he has that ability to run. He's going to look great in the bootleg. He's going to look great extending the play. I mean, this, is exactly what we need. We have a QB competition going on versus, a pocket quarterback versus a mobile quarterback. These are good things for us, right? As a team, we have the options now. You know what I mean? So he's still writing the playbook as he was talking about. You know what I mean? And these quarterbacks give him, the ability to write two different books, basically, right? And be able to utilize those books depending on who's available, right? We've even heard that. So, I love Luke Getzey's approach to coaching. And I think that he understands that you can do it with, or without a mobile quarterback, but, it's necessary to have that mobile quarterback.
Again, he said mobility. It doesn't mean being explosive. It doesn't mean that you have to run. He said, hey, we just need a guy that's mobile, that's able to extend the play. I love Gardner Minshew. I think he's a gunslinger. But with a gunslinger, you also have to see his aggressiveness and see how turnovers come into play. So with all that being said, you also have to evaluate those. You have to evaluate all the key features that you're looking for so your offense doesn't become stagnant and it doesn't just become like last year where it was a 3-and-out situation. But let's look at how Luke Getsy is going to evaluate turnovers and evaluate guys at the quarterback position this year.
You mentioned when you were talking about quarterback play was protecting the ball. I guess both from your philosophy and just your evaluation process of a quarterback, how do you balance protecting the ball with remaining aggressive and trying to find that balance where you're not just protecting the ball at the cost of maybe explosive play?
Yeah, that's a really important. But all those factors go into it, right? If you're looking at a Q and say they had 9 interceptions and 7 of them were at the end of a half at Hail Mary, like you just looked at the ratio and said it was 2-1, right? 18-9 or something like that. But let's evaluate the why or the how. I think that's what you get into. And then as you start to connect to the concepts and connect to the scheme and what your approach is and why you're trying to do what you're going to do, you start paying attention to the defense. And so now you say, okay, I know the way this hook defender is going to react, so I'm going to be aggressive to this throw. But when you're in those unknown worlds and you're throwing with kind of like uncertainty, those are the ones that you can't have. And so I think as everyone starts learning the system and learning what we're trying to accomplish with each and every play, then that's how you become more aggressive and more confident in what you're going to do. And then that's also leaning on your teammate too, trusting that they know what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing as well.
Taking that deep dive.
So part of protecting the ball, right, is not forcing the issue, not throwing the ball into double coverage, not trying to make something happen when it's not there. And, we keep talking about being mobile. So when it's not there, you got to move, right? That's what allows you to be dynamic. That's what allows you to make something happen when the play is not there and allows your team to trust in you and help you maybe down the field. And again, I know we're in the QB conversation now, so I'm just going to go out there and say it. I am all in on Gardner Minshew because he is that type of player, that dynamic player, man, that's not going to be fit, forced into a bubble. When something's not there, he's not going to force it down the field. He's going to be able to get free, move around in the pocket, extend the play. And those players out there like Adams are going to be able to maneuver and find the holes in the defense to help our offense stay moving the ball down the field.
No, absolutely, man. I can see why you like Uncle Rico. I'll be like, the man lives in a bus. He's down there. He got some swagger. He got some moxie. I'll be like, he got the mustache. He got the hair flow. I'll be like, come on, baby. Like, it's like 1970s again, baby. But I'm telling you right now, I think Gardner Minshew is definitely going to be used in the correct fashion. And we're definitely going to see a lot of this coming up right here with Gardner Minshew. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got the Bears in a pistol, 21 personnel, twins right, motion left from the slot receiver. You see Justin Fields highlighted right now because he's going to do some play action, baby. If the motion goes down, Justin Fields snaps the ball. Here you see the play action. Cole Kmet leaks out. The linebacker gets sucked up because he sees Justin Fields out. Justin Fields hits Cole Kmet for a Bears first down. Here we got the all-22 view. You see them in pistol left. You got Cole Kmet lined up on the left. You see Justin Fields is highlighted. He sends the motion. The ball is snapped. The play action influences the linebackers and safeties. Now the guys come out into the flat. The linebacker has now been sucked up, and Justin Fields sees Cole Kmet for a Bears first down.
Again, notice the importance of motion, play action, bootlegging, the importance of having a mobile quarterback. Earlier, we saw this play, but the ball went to Mercedes Lewis, right, in the red zone, and he gained a first down, almost a touchdown right there. Well, here's the pick your poison aspect of this offense, right? If it's not there underneath, you got Brock Bowers coming over the top. And if you don't think he's going to play well as Cole Kmet, man, you're not paying attention. But look, like I said, this is the kind of pick your poison approach to this offense that we're going to have that can help us.
You know what? Absolutely, man. I think using play action is something that's crucial. And if you can use play action, having the key guys to execute the play is crucial. It influences the defense in so many different ways that, you just saw it on that play. Linebackers get sucked up. It gets you out of position. It makes you really work and think twice as hard on defense. And guys don't like that on defense. They like to fly to the football. They like to read and react and get it done quickly and effectively. And there we saw, him going play action to the right. Now let's see Lugetzi using the offense going play action left. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got the Bears in 11 personnel, twins left. You're going to see Tyson Bagent at quarterback send Cole Kmet in motion as he runs an intermediate post route. He got the play action. Tyson Bagent rolls out left. Sees DJ Moore out in the flat. Throws a strike to DJ Moore going play action left. All right, guys, here we got Tyson Bagent highlighted. He snaps the ball, but you see him set Cole Kmet in motion. The ball is snapped. Play action freezes the linebackers. Tyson Bagent identifies DJ Moore immediately and gets a completion for the Bears.
All right, so rolling out to the right is not going to just be the only thing you see our quarterback do, right? Being able to roll out to the left and throw on the run is going to be a huge factor too. This is what I mean by the play action causing confusion. The defense, they know that Getsy likes to roll that bootleg roll out to the right side. So they're going to start to look for that eventually. So how do you counter that? Boom, with the rollout to the left. And see, this play went to DJ Moore, but you can see Jacoby Myers there, or you can see Trey Tucker there. There's going to be other options, and this will help get those options wide open, being able to go left and right and having a defense on their heels, not knowing which way to go. Again, pick your poison.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. You want a guy that can throw off platform going both ways. It's a difficult thing to do. It's not a natural thing for right-handed guys to actually float left and throw the ball going left. It's something that has to be developed and taught, and it's definitely going to play a big part of the Raiders' offense. And let's look into how Gardner Minshew can extend those plays. All right, guys. And here we got the Colts in 11 personnel. You got 2-by-1. You see Gardner Minshew highlighted at the quarterback. You're going to have a 10-yard post run by the top receiver. You're going to have a comeback run. Then you got 2 quick slants at the bottom. So, you see Gardner Minshew highlighted. He snaps the ball. He feels the pressure. Starts moving up in the pocket. He finds an opening against our Raiders. Throws an absolute strike for an Indianapolis first down. Here, we got 11 personnel. You got the all-22. Gardner Minshew snaps the ball. Drops back, feels the pressure, moves right, extends the plays with his feet, gets square downfield, throws the ball for a Colts first down.
Now, to me, the importance of this play is showing the ability of Gardner Minshew to extend the play and throw on the run, right? Betsy's already talking about how he wants a quarterback that can do a little bit of both. So he can naturally extend the play, run, and throw the ball. As you just mentioned, it's hard to do for a quarterback, but this is his natural instinct and why I think he's more suited for Luke Getsy's offense. You can't really coach mobile quarterbacks, right? You can't coach a pocket quarterback to become a mobile quarterback. You can design plays for him to run, but it's not a natural thing for him to do. And so this play to me shows the similarities to Luke Getsy's plays that we just watched in Chicago or shows how Gardner will fit in naturally to Getsy's scheme.
Absolutely. And that's something that Aidan O'Connell struggled with last year. So let's get into Aidan's struggles. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got Aidan O'Connell in a 3-by-1 formation with 11 personnel. All right, so here we got Aidan O'Connell, and he's going to snap the ball. He's going to feel the pressure. You see the receiver running open on the bottom, but he's locked into his top wide receiver. He moves up in the pocket, and instead of moving right, he moves left, and he gets sacked. All right, here we got the all-22 leader. You see him step back. You see him stay locked onto one receiver. Move up in the pocket. Moves left instead of right. And gets sacked.
Now, I know it seems unfair to single out Aidan O'Connell on this one play. All quarterbacks get sacked in the NFL, and he was a rookie. So you can expect him to be better in this situation this season. But my point is, it feels like this is really Aidan O'Connell's game. Yes, he can improve, but is he going to be that fit that's natural and gets his offense where he wants the quarterback to be mobile, and be able to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field, So I know, as you said in the green room, Will, that it seems unfair that we're kind of being biased here, but I just want to show the differences between the quarterbacks and how they would fit in to this offense based on last year, right? Because this year's coming up, we don't know, who's going to do what or who's going to play well. But, based on last year's performances, it's not looking too good as far as Aiden O'Connell being a mobile quarterback.
No, absolutely. And that's something that we have to look at. I mean, like, Aiden O'Connell not being mobile is something that it's his weakness. But there's something about the West Coast that I love. It's about timing. It's not just about, hey, you know, having that extra mobility. It's about having that precision and timing and knowing where to put the ball and what's going to happen with the defense and being able to anticipate things. But like you said, there's sometimes that plays are going to break down and you need to use your feet to extend the plays. And that's something that's going to be highly important for our Raiders this season. Now let's get into how Gardner Minshew plans on improving from last season.
So what did you set out to improve on this also?
Yeah, man, I think, last year is just got to win. No matter how that looks, whether we're running the ball 50 times, throwing it 50 times, defense is playing great, offense is playing great. At the end of the day, you're getting judged for wins and losses. And however you can help your team to do that, I think is, all you can really do.
Just win, baby, right? That's something that Gardner Minshew understands. He has good numbers, right? He has numbers that are comparable to Trevor Lawrence. The only thing is he's never led a team to the playoffs, right? So that's why he didn't get the contract that he wanted in Indianapolis, right? They didn't want to give him that money because he wasn't giving the wins. Well, we saw something in him, and this is what we see. His understanding that he needs to win, right? Especially coming into Getsy's offense, right? Well, we need a quarterback that is capable of winning, fits the mold, and is able to go over the top to, really put the cherry on top of this offense.
And all right, Raider Nation, let's see how play action is going to help the Raiders hit teams over the top this season. All right, guys, here we got the Colts in 12 personnel. You see the receiver's going to run a post, and you see the tight end's going to run an out. You got the motion coming across. He's going to go play action. The ball's going to get snapped. It's going to be play action. Gardner Minshew steps up in the pressure, throws an absolute dime down the field. And it's a Colts touchdown. Here we got the all-22. You see the tight end go in motion. Gardner Minshew goes play action. He steps up in the face of pressure and throws an absolute dime for a Colts touchdown.
So all episode long, we've been talking about the play action and bootlegs and how all that sways the defense and either makes the linebackers drop back or come up. The same with the safeties, right? Cornerbacks, all that. Well, all that leads to plays like this, right? Eventually, the defense is going to start to blitz, right? And so when that happens, Minshew is showing that he's capable of throwing the deep ball in the face of pressure, right? Now, one of O'Connell's strengths is throwing the deep ball well, right? Now, I want to show this play because I feel like Minshew is the mobile quarterback that we need, and he's also capable of hitting the wide receivers over the top and taking advantage of all the plays that were called before to set that play up.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, like, it's a crucial thing where you have to be able to take advantage of that. You have to be able to set it up, do it the right way, have the proper footwork, and be able to get the ball downfield, So let's look into how we can see things fitting and styles changing in our offense for our Raiders.
The question, Adam's question about the three systems, is it a matter of you fitting your system, your style into a system, or changing your style to fit within the system?
Yeah, I think it's kind of both. I think, again, Coach Getsy does a good job of even saying to us, he wants to make it comfortable for us and wants us to, feel comfortable when the play is called. He wants to know what we like, what we don't like. But at the same time, there is a system in place, and they believe in what they do, and that's what we're all buying into what's being taught and trying to execute at a high level. So I think it's a balance of, like you said, being myself and finding how I'll fit in this offense, but also understanding the system is in place to, obviously make yards, get first downs, score touchdowns.
So he's saying, that the system is in place for it to be functional, right? And the question is, can he change his game to fit in, or does Getsy have to change the game plan? Well, Getsy's already said that he can still write the playbook, right? But what he wants is a mobile guy, right? So we haven't seen a whole lot of mobility from Aiden O'Connell. So I'm not sure that he's going to be capable of making that adjustment and helping this offense, from week one, right? Now, it is his job to lose, right? But, given the fact that he isn't as mobile as Gardner Minshew, I would think that Aiden O'Connell, is going to lose his job to Minshew at some point this season.
I got you. Well, it's one part of the game is mobility. Another part of the West Coast offense, again, we keep talking about is timing. So timing is something that's crucial in the red zone. Let's bring up a play right now where we got Aiden O'Connell using timing to get a touchdown. All right, guys, we got the Raiders here in the 3-by-2 formation. You'll see a quick motion out. You see Davante Adams up top running a hitch, and then you see the receiver, the running back running a flare out that is going to influence that corner outside to get Davante open. All right, so now we got Aiden O'Connell snapping the ball. You see Aiden O'Connell identifying on this timing play. Davante Adams getting open on that hitch. He makes a throw. And that is a Raiders touchdown, baby. All right, guys, here we got the L-22. You see Aiden O'Connell making changes at the offensive line. Guys shift. See him signaling. You see we highlighted the receiver that's going to go out into the flat. Aiden O'Connell identifies Davante Adams open for a Raiders touchdown.
Given the fact that Aiden O'Connell only played 10 games or only started 10 games, his numbers weren't that bad in the red zone. Not flashy, but something you can work with, right? So we're talking about strengths and weaknesses and how he would fit into Getsy's offense. Well, Getsy won the job, right? Going 3 for 3 in the red zone versus the Raiders. So Getsy is going to want a guy that can handle the offense in the red zone. And this would be where Aiden O'Connell could keep his job. But it will all depend, on the plays before, man. How do we get into the red zone? Aiden O'Connell is not a bad quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Coming into his second year, I believe that he will do well. But I just want to see him sit there for a little bit and learn more, right? Because we talked about the importance of veterans earlier in the episode. Well, Minshew is that veteran, and he can help this offense advance quicker, I believe.
No, absolutely, man. And I feel like veteran leadership will definitely have that effect on your team where they're able to influence guys and do a lot better, like just be able to grab the bull by the horns and move the ball faster. But, it's all in the way that whoever's coming into that locker room is commanding the locker room. We don't know if Aiden O'Connell's coming in there that way. We know that, they say that he's got more leadership, more moxie to him. We have the same thing coming with Minshew where he's changing plays at the line of scrimmage. So it's an exciting time of the season. So let's get another way that we see Luke Getsy using both these quarterbacks in his offense. So here we got Davante Adams lined up at running back, and he's going to motion out to be a wide receiver so that way Aaron Rodgers has a 2-by-2 formation. Okay, we're going to see here another shift. See the slot right there. He's going to run a rub route, which is quick slants. But you see Aaron Rodgers already identifies that rub route is going to work. Throws it to Davante Adams. And it's a touchdown for the Packers.
Again, that play is similar to the previous play, right? That's something that Aiden O'Connell can do well. He looks like Aaron Rodgers almost throwing that play, right? Look, man, this is the type of plays that we're going to have to make, to win games, right? And that's what's going to dictate who's going to be the quarterback, man. You just mentioned that, the reports are coming out about the red zone offense playing well in the OTA. So that all bodes well, man. And look for these kind of plays again, as I've been saying throughout the preseason, Raider Nation, because these are the bread and butter plays of Luke Getsy's offense. That was a Green Bay Packer play, but that was from the year that Luke Getsy was Davante Adams' wide receiver coach, man. So Getsy understands how to utilize Adams in the red zone. It's just going to depend on what quarterback is getting in the ball.
And now, guys, let's get into final thoughts. All right, guys. So final thoughts, man. Offensively, we are excited this season to see what Luke Getsy can do with both these quarterbacks. We understand. Hey, we see Gardner Minshew as having a leg up right now. He's more mobile. He's down there. He's a guy that is a leader, a guy that is a veteran, a guy that has the moxie. But guys, don't sleep on Aiden O'Connell. Again, this is a young man that came in here. He's fighting for his job, and he's done it at Purdue. He's doing it. He did it last season. Now he's doing it again. So, guys, stay locked in. Make sure you guys are watching Sideline to Sideline. Make sure you guys click like, subscribe, share, and comment so that way you guys can give us your final thoughts on who's going to be the starting QB for us on this starting quarterback competition. Doug, what are your final thoughts for today, my brother?
You know, the episode started out talking about experience, and we know how important chemistry is. So Getsy has that experience. Minshew has that experience in the NFL. Adams has the experience in the offense. This is setting up well for us to be successful and get the 24 points that AB or Coach AP wants us to get to help the defense and for the Raiders to win games. And yes, as you saw in all those plays, the play action, the consistent play action, the consistent bootlegs, the consistent motion or the consistent mobility of the quarterback, all that's going to be huge for us. And that's what's going to dictate the quarterback. You know, and again, I know that there are a lot of reports coming out that the Raiders are going to be running the ball. And I expect Zeus to run the ball well, and I expect Getsy to get the ball to him a lot. We're not saying that's not going to happen, but I want the Raider Nation to expect as well for this to be a high-powered offense as far as throwing the ball, right? That's where you score points, right? You know, the quick strike, the Al Davis, take what you want, you know, and just win, baby. So I feel like Luke Getsy's offense is going to help this Raider organization get back to the point where we're consistently going to the playoffs, man. And it started in Green Bay with Davante Adams and Luke Getsy. Now that combination is here in Las Vegas, and I expect to see something similar to the run that the Green Bay Packers had under Mike McCarthy and Matt LaFleur.
Yes, sir. That's what we expect for Raider Nation to rise up, to offensively start putting up 60 points a game, baby. I can't wait to see this offense light up the scoreboard this season. Raider Nation, you should be excited for your team to go out there and put points up. And again, guys, it's all about one nation. It's all about one team. It's all about the Raiders.